Hello, boys. Hello. Welcome to week 6 of the third annual SGS podcast, week 7 projection week as well. I am your host, Jordan, and yes, the mic might be sounding a little bit different, and that is because I do now have an actual mic. Went and got one today. Might as well go ahead and get one so I sound more clear and we don't have the issues of my mic turning off and on again. After I did that pod with Andy, I realized how much he sounded very vague. Couldn't really hear him that much in some of the things he was saying. So, luckily, now we will not have that problem anymore. As you can see, this mic sounds crystal clear. I'm actually in love with it so far. I could have sex with it all night. But anyways, I won't glaze this mic up anymore. It was pretty cheap, but pretty good bargain. Boys, so yeah, unfortunately yesterday I made a podcast and it didn't have any sound. So that's what made me have the impulsive decision to buy this shit. A little congested today, boys. I apologize. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and do week 6 recap, week 7 projections. We'll check out recent activity, final projection standings currently, all that kind of stuff. But I will try to get through this kind of quick. I'm in a little bit of a rush today. I've got a pretty busy day. Got a big golf tournament today as well. So, first off, this is the first matchup we had last week was Burt versus Tuck. Really good win for Tuck. His team has shown that they can be resilient. Honestly, what really boosted his team, obviously, is Raheem Mostert being the RB1 right now with A-Chain out in Miami. So he is going to go crazy in that offense. Their offense is undeniably the best in the NFL right now. And then we also have a good performance from Adam Thielen. Once again, Adam Thielen has been popping off this year. He's number 5 now in wide receivers. Did not expect Adam Thielen at this point of the season to be wide receiver 5, but right now he is. Olave, I'm a big fan of. I think you continue to keep him. He's a great asset to have on your team. We'll go to Burt's team real quick. Burt put up 100, so his team didn't play bad, but he just didn't get a lot of production out of Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams has now had back-to-back bad weeks for his standards. You could even say 11.5 is bad for his standards. But you could also say that Jordan Addison sucked this week too. Or not Jordan Addison, I'm sorry. Jake Ferguson. Jordan Addison played okay. I wouldn't be too worried about him while Justin Jefferson is out. He's going to be getting a lot of targets. Not a big fan of Javonte Williams. That 3 committee backfield is very odd just because of how bad Denver's offense is. So he is very risky now on the upside. But yeah, we obviously saw that you were beat up at running back. You had Jalen Warren on bye. You had Jahmyr Gibbs out. So that's what really hurt Burt's team the most. And as you can see, the running back play obviously paid better for Tuck. So Tuck got the dub by 15. Next up, we got Carson versus Andy. Very low scoring outing here, but Andy went ahead and got the dub. Big win for him. C.J. Stroud did okay. Tony Pollard did okay. Kyron Williams had the big game for him this week. Kyron Williams has been a really good running back to start off the year. He is 4 currently in running backs because he's had a 21, 26, 25, and a 17. So he's looked really good in that offense. The Rams' offense in general looks amazing. They are definitely putting up points, passing it a lot. Garrett Wilson also performed well too. He's always going to be a little up and down every week just because Zach Wilson is the person throwing him the ball. But, he's definitely WR1 there. So he will have breakout games at some point from time to time. Andy did sit Lockett and Amari Cooper on the bench, which they actually outperformed Ridley and Brown, but didn't really matter. You still got the win anyways. We'll look at Carson's team real quick too. Really the only person that went off was Keenan Allen. I wouldn't even say went off, but definitely went over his projection. Everyone else did not hit their projection at all other than the Cowboys defense and Brandon Aubrey. So that was very unfortunate. Just did not get a lot of great play from the running backs, just kind of, average performances for him. Devontae Smith has been disappointing to start the year. I wouldn't be too worried. They have such an elite offense that I feel like he is going to be always involved every single week. But right now he's just in a little bit of a slump. Yeah, he's 6. He had 5 targets, or no, he had 11 targets. So, I mean, you got to realize that he is getting this many targets. He is going to produce most games. But unfortunately, that game he did not. But yeah, Andy barely got the win. He's 4-2 now. Carson's 2-4. Dylan versus Chance. This was the closest matchup of the week. I did not expect Dylan's team to make it super close. I was expecting Chance to win by like 10-15, I would say. But we do have to take an account for Chance's team that David Montgomery got hurt. So that was a big loss right there already. Josh Allen underperformed, which I was not expecting against the Giants. DeAndre Hopkins disappointed. I'm not really too high on him, to be honest, this year. Zay Flowers has been playing well. He's looking like he's going to be a really good wide receiver rookie. Maybe the best out of the rookie class so far. Jordan Addison's up there too. But Christian Kirk, I mean, he has been looking solid from week to week. I am recording this on a Friday, so Jacksonville did just play the Saints, and he dropped 16. So, I mean, he's been very, very consistent this year. Always a consistent start. But Dylan's team just barely got the dub. Jared Goff outperformed Josh Allen, which I was not expecting. Saquon Barkley coming back, so that was big for Dylan. He only got 11, but I do expect him to get back into this offense and get comfortable once he's fully healthy, because he is still limited with that ankle. Drake London had a huge week. Jalen Waddle played well. Cortland Sutton had that touchdown late game. So, yeah, I mean, the wide receivers outperformed his wide receivers, and that's what showed. And Dylan is now 2-4. Chance is now 3-3. So, Dylan back on the winning column now. He is back in the hunt to not be last place, which is good. So, next up, we got Bryce and Seth. This was the biggest blowout of the week. Bryce's team came up and showed up, but more importantly, Seth's team did not show up. He just had hardly anyone met their projections other than Brian Robinson and the Saints defense, and then Josh Reynolds, I guess, too. Just beat up right now with Seth's team. Aaron Jones was on bye, but he's been out lately. Justin Jefferson on IR is what is the biggest hit on your team currently. Once his team is fully healthy towards the end of the season, he could be dangerous. But for right now, his team is not looking intriguing. Definitely need to see some more play. He will be getting Aaron Jones and Jordan Love back. We'll see what kind of decision he makes at QB. But for next week, now with Bryce, Bryce's team played very well. They played to their standards. Stephon Diggs and Amon-Ra St. Brown carrying the load, which I would expect, honestly, with how both of them have been playing this year. Amon-Ra St. Brown might have had, he hasn't had a slow start to the year. He's just been very consistent. Dalton Schultz has been going off lately. He is now tight end 6. The past 3 games, 14, 16, 11. So he's getting way more involved in this offense now, and he's looking like a dangerous tight end. Bryce's team went off. He is now 4-2. Seth is 2-4. Next up, we got Jace versus Jack. This was my projected matchup of the week coming in. I was expecting it to be a little bit of a closer outing, but injuries unfortunately plagued Jace's team, and that's what made Jack have a landslide win here. Justin Fields getting hurt, Christian McCaffrey getting hurt. That's what really hurt the team. Puka not being involved in the offense against Arizona that much was very concerning, but I wouldn't be too concerned. I think Puka's still going to be a very solid start every week. Alvin Kamara, arguably could be the steal of the draft. Just because, let's look. Jace got Alvin Kamara at 54th overall, fourth round. Alvin Kamara getting picked in the 4th round. A lot of people were sleeping on him, obviously, just because of the fact that he had that suspension. You weren't going to have him for the start of the year, so it really was just a patience is virtue kind of thing for him, and it has showed. And then, like I said, he went off last night. I mean, he dropped 23. This is what's really, really crazy to me is 12 receptions. I mean, it's insane seeing double-digit targets for a running back. You really only see that with, like, Austin Eckler, you know? You don't really see that with any other running backs, but Alvin Kamara is a big part of this passing offense, and it showed so far. So with him getting that many receptions, he's dangerous. But anyways, we'll talk back to this week. Really, Jace's team just underperformed. Jack's team came out. They played the way they needed to play. Big game from Cooper Kupp, Jacoby Myers as well, and Justin Tucker. So big games from some of his bigger names. And I'm saying Justin Tucker's a bigger name because he can go off week to week. He's the best kicker in the NFL still. But Cooper Kupp, I mean, him coming back to L.A., the Puka versus Cooper matchup, it was obvious who won. But Jack is now 5-1. He is at the top of the SGS league so far, and then Jace is now 3-3. So next up, we got Connor versus Crew. Double check the stream real quick, make sure everything good. All right, we good. Another low scoring outing. Crew's team underperformed for sure, but Connor's team did. They got enough to get the win. Sam Howell really carried the load for Connor's team. No one else really popped off this week for him. Terry McLaurin did go over his projection. Crew's team, you know, Jalen Hurts had a great game. Breece Hall had a great game. You really just didn't get a lot of production out of George Kittle, Jerry Jeudy, DJ Moore. It was really just the fact Justin Fields got hurt. Jerry Jeudy, I mean, he has been disappointing this year. I'm convinced that he will be traded at some point this year. Kendrick Bourne was a great start this week. I'm not really big on any New England guys. I was even not big on Kendrick Bourne this week, but he ended up performing well. He did get he had a touchdown, correct? Yeah, so he did not have a touchdown. I apologize. He had 11 targets, though. So he's very involved in the offense. Connor's team, I really like Austin Eckler. I wouldn't be too worried about him only putting up 8. Josh Jacobs only putting up 10. I wouldn't be too worried. Your running backs are solid. Wide receivers are a little iffy right now, but you do have a pretty good depth of wide receivers, but a lot of them have underperformed this year. So, but yeah, Connor Calvin's 3-3, and Crew's now 2-4. So, my matchup with Kyle, my team did really well. I finally had a good game from Ramondre Stevenson, so that felt great finally having him show up. DeAndre Swift just doing what he's doing. Tyreek Hill, just going to be arguably, he's going to be one of the best players in fantasy this year. That's why I drafted him. I was very high on this offense, Miami's offense at the jump. So I was very, very excited to pick up Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes has been okay. He hasn't had that breakout game yet, but I mean, I'm fine with 23 for my QB. So Zach Moss going off for me at flex. Brandon Cooks with that late game touchdown. So really, this was a close matchup. It came down to Monday night. CeeDee Lamb had a great game, just did not get a touchdown, but Brandon Cooks did, and I think that's what really solidified my win this week. Really, Kyle's team, Tua has been a monster this year. Kenneth Walker played very well. So did Derrick Henry. I'm very high on Kenneth Walker, very high on CeeDee Lamb, very high on Sam Laporta, very high on Tua. I do like Michael Pittman too. Not a big fan of Derrick Henry, but I mean, he's going to have those weeks where he goes off. It's just, I don't know. 12 carries. That's just concerning. 12, 13, 11, 15. He's had a 25 and a 22. And when he has had more carries, he plays well. And he played well this week on only 12 carries, but it's just very concerning with him. So I'm now 3-3, and Kyle is now 2-4. All right, let's check out Week 7 projections real quick, boys. So, yes, this is a late podcast, so some of these projections have changed just because players have already played. Chris Olave had a little bit of a disappointing night, but he had 15 targets. So, I mean, if you have a wide receiver starting and he's getting 15 targets and he only scores 9, that is a shocker. So, I mean, it was just unfortunate, but he's getting the volume on offense. And then Carson had Brian McManus. He scored 8. Now, let's see. Really, the matchup that I like, Justin Herbert, Josh Dobbs. I'll take Justin Herbert all day. James Cook, Jerome Ford, give me James Cook. Raheem Mostert, Bijan Robinson. Give me Raheem Mostert for right now just because of how explosive the offense is. Keenan Allen over DK. Devontae Smith over Curtis Samuel. Jonnu Smith over Cole Kmet. Chris Olave. I would say Gabe Davis might have a good game. We'll see, but Chris Olave, I feel like, will win this flex this week. I don't know if Gabe Davis. The thing about Gabe Davis is he doesn't get a lot of targets. He has 8 and 7, but 4, 4, 3, 4. Very concerning. But other than that, he did have Jamar Chase and Adam Thielen on bye this week. That's going to hurt Connor's team substantially. Give me Carson this week. Next up, Dylan versus Kyle. Dylan coming off a dub. Let's see if he can get back-to-back wins here against Kyle, who's coming off the loss against me. Tua, Jared Goff, give me Tua. Kenneth Walker, Saquon, give me... God, this is tough. Give me Kenneth Walker, just because of Saquon's health currently. Tyler Algier, Najee Harris is a toss-up. I can't even tell you which one I'd rather start. Maybe Tyler Algier, just because of how much they run the ball. Give me Waddle over Pittman. Give me Watson over Dobbs. Hawkinson over Laporta. Drake London over Kyle Pitts. Dylan's team honestly looks really solid this week. It really will go down to the QB play. Will Jared Goff have another big week for you? Because that'll mean a lot. Is Saquon going to play? He should play, but he is still limited. I would say I'm going to go with Kyle this week. Bert versus Seth. So Saints defense put up 4. Unfortunately, they could not hold Jacksonville at all really that well. They put up 24. So, give me Lamar Jackson over Jordan Love, even though Jordan Love has a really good matchup this week. I still love Lamar Jackson's upside as a runner. Aaron Jones over Jalen Warren if Aaron Jones is healthy. Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Robinson. Give me Brian Robinson just because Jahmyr Gibbs might not play. A.J. Brown at Mike Evans. Give me A.J. Brown. Devontae Adams over Cortland Sutton. Michael Mayer maybe over Logan Thomas. I don't know. Logan Thomas might have the better matchup here, though. We'll see. Addison over Zach Evans. Give me Burt this week. I think Burt gets the win. His wide receivers just look a lot better. I think they're going to have big weeks. We got Andy and Connor. This one. So Evan Ingram already played. He dropped 7 for Connor's team. This is a very low projection game for Andy. And the reason why is because Tony Pollard's on bye. Garrett Wilson's on bye. CJ Stroud is on bye as well. So a lot of rearranging for your lineup this week, Andy. Not looking good at running back, unfortunately. Just basically have handcuff running backs starting. Give me Connor's running backs all day this week. Wide receiver-wise, definitely give me Andy's wide receivers. I like them more than the ones that Connor Calavan's starting. Personally, I think I'm going to go with Connor, though. I think his running backs are going to pop off this week, and he's going to get the dub. Next up, we got Chance versus Crew. Chance is already a strong start with Travis Etienne getting 21, Christian Kirk getting 16. So it's already looking like Chance is going to get the dub this week already. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. Give me Jalen Hurts for the matchup. I'll take Kareem Hunt over Latavius Murray. Zay Flowers over Judy. Travis Kelce over Kittle. Give me Kadarius Toney over Ezekiel Elliott just because I'm not high on New England whatsoever. But I will have to say Chance, just because of how his players have already performed. I'm giving him the dub this week. His team already started off strong. David Montgomery is questionable too, so that's someone to look out for. You could maybe fit him in for Latavius Murray. All right, Bryce and Jack. Boys, this is the matchup of the week. We got the two top dogs right now. Yeah, there is other 4-2 teams, but just because of the circumstances last year with both of y'all's teams being last, just seeing y'all at the top is amazing. Just shows you what fantasy football can do year to year. So Jags defense, they played okay. They probably met their projections, so not really much of a toss-up there. Injuries are plaguing Jack. Debo and Dallas Goedert are questionable. There are no questionables for Bryce, however. This is going to be a really good wide receiver matchup here. I really am intrigued to see which wide receivers pop off. Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs. Give me Cooper Kupp. I mean, I love Stephon Diggs, but I think Cooper wins that matchup. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown over Debo. And then give me Ayuk over Jacoby Myers, just because of the fact that Garoppolo is probably not going to play. I don't think he is playing. I think he's already ruled out. Give me Brock Purdy over Kirk Cousins. Running back-wise, Bryce is looking stronger. So give me Bryce this week, just because of the fact of how beat up Jack's team is. Buys are coming into play for Jack, too. No Joe Mixon for him. Dalton Schultz not being for Bryce might hurt a little bit. Dawson Knox has not looked intriguing at all this year just because of a split tight end backfield. So now we got me versus Jay. So Jay's already had a strong start. Alvin Kamara with 23 already. So that is unfortunate because I do not think Zach Moss is going to put up 23 just because Jonathan Taylor's coming back. Fortunately, that is the start I have to make this week, though. I don't have anyone else intriguing on my bench. It's really concerning for me is just the depth that I have currently. I'm not happy just because of injuries that I've had and just some of the picks I made were just not smart. Quentin Johnston was a bad pick for me. Brandon Cooks so far. Maybe a little bit of upside with Brandon Cooks since he got that touchdown, but I'm not too sure. He just doesn't get a lot of targets. I think Mahomes definitely wins this matchup this week. Hey, I'm doing my pod right now. Yeah, Mitchell told me 1:30, so I'll be there around 1:30. Okay. All right. I'll see you, bro. Sorry about that, boys. I had to answer that real quick. Tyreek Hill over Puka for sure. DeAndre Swift over Madison. If McCaffrey's healthy, he's going to outperform Stevenson. That's not even an argument. Godwin over Pickens, Mark Andrews over Luke Musgrave. He's just got the better matchups. I'm a little worried coming into this week, but I think my team will still play well. If I have big games for Mahomes and Hill, that'll really carry the load for me because I do have good matchups with that. So we'll see what happens, boys. Now, let's go ahead and check out these standings real quick. Just a little recap on them. So we got a couple 4-2s. Bryce, Bert, Andy. We got Jack as the lone 5-1. A lot of 3-3s too. We got 5 3-3s. Me, Jace, Chance, Tuck, Connor Calavan. 2-4s. We got 5 of those as well. So we got Kyle, Crew, Dylan, Carson, and Seth. I'm telling you, man, these teams, a lot of these teams are super even, and it shows right now just because there's a lot of teams that are in the hunt right now. So anyone that is 3-3 or 2-4 should kind of be a little bit worried. I wouldn't say a little bit worried, but I would say that you're not completely out of being last place. So definitely need to have some better performances from some players. But yeah, so far, I believe my team has still put up the most points this year, according to the season stats. I've also allowed a lot of points, though. The least points allowed is Bryce. Now, final standing projections. As we're looking at these, couple big moves. Burt trends up significantly as well as Bryce and Connor Calavan. Seth has had the biggest downtrend. He is now projected last in our league just because of the injuries. Dylan is 13th. 12th is Carson. 11th is Crew. 10th is Kyle. 9th is Connor Calivan. 8 is me. 7 is Chance. 6 is Jace. 5 is Andy. 4 is Tuck. 3 is Bert. 2 is Bryce, and 1 currently. Number 1 is Jack, just because he's 5-1. His team is performing well. Recent activity. Check out a couple things right here real quick. I'm not going to go through ad player shit. There's probably no one even worth available now. Craig Reynolds has a little bit of interest. I don't mind the pickup set just in case Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't play. Tutu Atwell got added by Kyle. Dropped McCall Hardman. Okay. I am going to pick him up, actually. I am going to pick him up. All right. Crap. Where am I at now? Recent activity. All right. Back to that. Jack got A.J. Dillon this week in case Aaron Jones doesn't play, so he most likely will start him. Ezekiel Elliott getting picked up by Crew, dropped Jackson Smith and Jimba. Actually want Jackson Smith and Jimba too. Okay. Now... Just making a couple moves, boys, while I'm on the pod. So, Bryce got Elijah Moore. I was kind of shocked Elijah Moore being dropped. Who had Elijah Moore? Jace did. Yeah, Elijah Moore's been disappointing this year, but with Deshaun Watson coming back, he might start playing a little bit better. We'll see. Kyler Murray, he was seen throwing the ball this week. So there is a little bit of upside that he will at some point come back this year. We don't know when yet, but when he does come back, he is a must-start QB, I believe, even though they don't look like they have the best offense, but he is still a great fantasy player. Anyone else really worth talking about? Not really. Yeah, just a bunch of basic moves. We did have that one trade go down, Cortland Sutton for Justice Hill and Tyler Boyd. Don't really know who won this trade personally. This was just it was an even trade, so maybe Seth won the trade, but yeah, boys. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the pod. I know it was a little quick, a little 27 minutes. It's still a little not too lengthy, but just a little bit. I did want to go a little bit fast because my pod that I did yesterday was 50 minutes. So there was no way in hell I was doing another 50-minute pod. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this. Hopefully I sound significantly better. I will test it, make sure it sounds good before I send it in. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this pod. Good luck to everyone this week. I am going to be wanting to try to get a guest next week. So anyone interested in being a guest, hit me up. You can come through, come check out the setup. Otherwise, boys, I am fixing to go golf. Wish me luck. Y'all have a great rest of your evening.